Shout out to everybody. This is Lawrence D. Adams. This is when spirituality and the game combines. You have the thinking class. We are live today, and we are going to cover some things about the untimely death of Kevin Samuels. I already know. Don't come up here with no foolishness, talking crazy. Whatever the case may be, I already seen something already. I'm like, you guys are really sick in the head. Sick. Full of freaking selfishness. So I'm going to talk about it. Let me get this very clear. Shout out to the thinking class. Shout out to you, New Country guy. Let me get this very clear. I did not know him personally. I only knew him in the what? In the space of content creators, and I would call us the fraternal order of content creators. Fraternal order of content creators. So that's all I knew him in. Yes, I watched his content. Yes, I watched his content. Yes, I watched not only his content, I watched his delivery. I watched how he set up his cameras. I watched the behind the scenes things. So first, let's get this very clear. If you come in here talking crap, please, moderators, delete the person, get the person out of here. We don't got time for that foolishness. So let me say that. And shout out to, he was a part of the illustrious fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated. Peace to him, brother. But I gotta talk about this because this stuff is getting way out of hand. It's way out of hand. How in the heaven and earth you're going to celebrate a man that you don't know confirmed yay or nay if he's passed on, and you celebrating in a sense, not celebrating because you're happy that he's transitioned. You celebrating now because now he's no longer here and you glad about it and you seeing he probably died alone. Come on. I never seen so much weakness from men and women when you don't agree with somebody. Get over your feelings and the world does not revolve around you. The world does not revolve around your behind. Please believe that that everything does not revolve around you. I gotta say it. I have to say this. I was disappointed and like call people I knew and say, "Hey, yo, is this for real? Is this really happen? Did this really happen to Kevin?" I can't believe. I was in disbelief. I was in disbelief. But I gotta say this because whether you agree with him or not, what he did was bring the conversation that men were having over here in the barbershops, women were having over here in the beauty shops, and say, hey, let's talk about it collectively. Let's find out what men really want. Let's find out what women really want. Let's dispel what? Let's dispel this fairy tale that we believe that we think the other gender want, and let's talk about it. I'm gonna get that, Jennifer, too. I see you, alumni. I don't think I wish him death. Just as degradation of women. Let me get something. I'm gonna cover that too. But let's have this conversation. And sometimes the conversation is not going to be pretty. And what happens is we got a lot of fairy tale believing in dreams, and this is going to happen. And you don't believe when you wake up, your breath stink. You don't believe that your hair is not what it is. So for someone to say forthcoming to say, hey, what you saying that you want doesn't add up to what men say they want. This is the problem. That's the real problem. So let me, and shout out to you, Jennifer, the alumni, so you know it ain't personal. So anybody who think I'm personally attacking them, I am not personally attacking you. Save it for somewhere else. It's not here, because that's not what we do here in the thinking class. But I will say this. As much as women feel that he was degrading or degrading them, you got to think, who were the women that were coming up there? What were they saying? What was their attitude towards him? Did he exhibit grace to them to get them to spill their point? And their logic did not add up. So when your logic don't add up and your story don't add up and what you did don't add up and someone calls you in the carpet, everybody has a problem. This is the real thing. No one can tell these generation of men and women what to do. You can't tell me that you can't tell me that I'm wrong. You can't tell me that. Who are you to tell me you're wrong? I heard one lady said, oh, she agreed everything he said, but he doesn't have the credentials. He's been married twice. Who do he think he is? You're trying to dismiss the message that if it's true to you, take it. Only hit dogs holler. And I'm here to tell you there was a lot of hit dogs that holler. And that is the problem. Only hit dogs holler. And what happens is people took the message as personal to them and not saying, wait a minute, let me look at the mirror. This may be very well be me. This may be something I need to do. Let me bring this other point up. We have long been looking, and it has been here. There's been an undercurrent. I said this earlier this year. I said it last year. There's been an undercurrent. There's been an undercurrent of men waiting to express and say what they wanted to say without the backlash of the media and what women think he should be. We are not just utilities so that you can get supply from. So get over that. So I have to say that because I think it has to be said. We are much more complex and we have much more things that we desire and want. What happens is Kevin strategically with his message has pulled the cover back and exposed the bed bugs that were there, that people were getting in bed and didn't even know and understood that they were getting bit by. So this false narrative that I seen on Twitter, even my old son came to me, hey, Dad, they blowing up on Twitter. I'm like, really? This is a shame. Now watch what happened. There's going to be they're going to try to do a smear campaign to discredit this man. To discredit this man. Watch the smear campaign that comes out. Watch the smear campaign that comes out. Now, let me get this. Let me get very, very clear. If you listen to my show anytime, I always, not just to Kevin, but to other people, I give shout out to the people that I give homage to. I shouted him out. I shouted Steve Dean out, LaCar, anybody you know, I shout him out. I ain't worried about it. It's enough piece of the pie so that everyone can eat. So I ain't worried about that. So I did shout him out. And let me say this too. I am not doing this because I don't need no clout chasing. And that's what I want to get to next. All you fake YouTubians, Facebookians, Instagramians who want to get on here and clout chase, what are you going to do now because you was eating from the scraps from his table? Now you want to be his friend. Now you want to say, man, peace to you, brother. You was everything. Yeah, because your bread is gone. You cannot make videos now of what he said and then try to dissect what he said so that you can get likes and get all that. It's gone. It's gone. What you going to do now? Because you wasn't a content creator. You was the crumb creator. You took crumbs from a man who was bringing some truth, whether you liked it or not. And now, what are you going to do now? And to all you fake guys, fake, F-A-K-E, fake guys, who now you want to be down. I'm down with Kevin. Kevin's my dude. Kevin, yeah, man. You wasn't down with him because you were secretly behind the scenes talking about him. Content creators included. You were secretly down on him, wishing his demise. So don't come in here. I watch you. I watch the YouTube like I watch it. You're going to come in here and make some stuff. Yeah, man, Kevin was my dude, man. K.A. style for life, blah, blah, blah. You're going to do all that stuff and crying and whining. You're going to make videos and things like that. You were not down. So stop with sugar honey iced tea. What happens is you didn't have the balls enough to stand up and to stand in your truth. So you attacked a man that was standing in his truth. What's going on, SC? Appreciate you. I hate that. The wolves are out here. Yeah. Rest in power. Help so many people, Nuke. Yeah. So I'm here to tell you all this stuff fake. I'm watching what's going on, Dre. All this fake crying and Kevin was this. And then all these divestors, all these freaking divestors going to come out. I seen something recently just before I got on. I'm going to Kevin's funeral and I'm going to be in Big Shirley. Really? Are you that thirsty for attention? Yo, what's going on, Player for Life? Dude, you more than welcome to come up if you want to. Yeah, all you that thirsty for attention because the man with his message exposed your sugar honey iced tea because he exposed you for what you were. Or you couldn't take it from your mama. You couldn't take it from your daddy. And I watch every woman, their goal, I said this to somebody, their goal was, I want to get on with Kevin first so I can get attention. Second of all, I want to get on with Kevin so that to try to topple him, try to beat him at what he did best. You cannot refute the truth. You cannot refute the what? You could not refute you cannot refute the truth, and you cannot refute what he was saying. So you always came up the loser. It's just honest to God. And where were all you women? Where were all you women when he was going in on the men? Where were y'all at? I don't hear nothing. I don't hear nobody say he's degraded the men. I don't. What's going on, Jono? Let me get this point out. I don't hear nothing from none of the women who are crying and moaning when he was going in on the what? On the men. Where was y'all at 2 years ago? Where was y'all at 3 years ago? Nowhere to be found. So sit your hind parts down and get some of this ism. Thank you for coming in, man. I done put on a suit, man. Where were they at, Jono? Nowhere to be found. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate that. Raggedy, rejoicing someone is waiting and laughing to demise. Flowers for you. I appreciate that. Jono, go ahead, because I got something I got to say, because they don't know. They don't know something.
Nobody likes to be told what to do. That's the problem.
And Jono, let's be real clear. Did we not just talk about Kevin after the show?
Yeah.
We just talked about this man.
It's so simple.
Huh?
It's so simple. People looked at it from a standpoint of, well, I'll tell you, my personal reason is I was fascinated by the growth of the channel. I was fascinated by the message, it seemed like he had like that shock jock therapy where it was so much more like, like a Howard Stern or something like that. Like, yeah, you may not like the guy, but his retractors were probably a larger audience than his actual supporters,
Right.
So
we were
take that into perspective when you're dealing with somebody like Kevin Samuels,
Dude, we were, just be honest, what were we looking at? Cameras, setups, what he was doing, what behind the scenes. We talked about that for hours.
Yeah, we dissected his whole setup. And a matter of fact, he started doing things like you could tell there was some similarities to the setups, but then you could see he started adapting, which maybe it may be a general thing across most YouTubers, but he started adapting a lot of the stuff that was working for us. So I really feel like there was some type of energy there that was definitely in collaborative mode, you know?
Yes, and that's now from what I understood yesterday, from his stream. That's Dennis Sperling. He said that Kevin, because that was one of Kevin's friends. He said that Kevin watched YouTube not only just to get for the content, but he watched how people were doing things. So that just gave you a clue that he was watching. He was watching.
Yeah.
And there's certain things that we say only in the thinking class. That's the only way somebody else can say it. And I'm not saying that we got that corner market on some particular wisdom, but we have some different sayings that we say in here that you can't just say anywhere else. Mm-hmm. So, and let me say this. Let me say this. All you YouTubians and you Facebookians and Instagramians, all you got so much mouth to say. You don't know what happens behind the scenes, what we have to do. You don't know the money sunk in to what we had to do. The cameras, the lights, the computers, everything that take place. There is nobody behind the scenes working the camera. If you really look at it, we're working the cameras.
Yeah.
We are. So all you got something to say, he ain't doing this, he ain't for women. Once again, where was that heat when it was on the men, when he was telling men that they were not adding up? They were not even ready to be with a wife or ready to be with a woman. Where were y'all at then? It's only when he came after the women that everybody got in their feelings. And all you simps, potens, who want to kiss up because you feel you won't get none because he's attacking your theory or she's disagreeing with Kevin. Now you don't want to say nothing. Dude, I know the drill. I got personal stories. I
I saw on Twitter, I was like, what is going on? Like, they were literally disrespecting the person. And I'm sitting like, this is unnecessary. Y'all going to heck for this.
Yeah. Camera didn't jump off. How you gonna disrespect the man? How you gonna do you even know him? First of all, I know what they did. Oh, what's going on, McCain? All they listened to was snippets and not listen to the full content. I know the drill because I know y'all got some of y'all HD. What's that thing where they don't got enough attention span? They ain't got enough. Say that again.
ADD.
Yeah, they AD. What's going on? Modu. They ain't got enough attention span to listen to a full hour and see the full content of what was being said. All you hear in the snippet and making a rash judgment on your feelings. Oh, he said this about women. He said this about men. I want a high value man. We said it already. You don't even deserve a high value man. I already seen that. Please understand, until it's confirmed. Thank you, T. Williams. How you guys heard the saying there was a woman with him and cops believe he took cocaine laced with fentanyl. Sounds like a foul play.
It wasn't foul play. That's the way he played. She's a nurse. The girl was a nurse. She was a nurse and basically got him some party favors. And that's basically how people roll sometimes. You understand? This guy was not, he was like you and me. Like, he definitely was not on no high horse. He definitely wasn't. He was just trying to make a point. Mm-hmm. Y'all mad because he's human.
Yeah, there it is. There's the real issue. There is the real you mad because he's human and he was pointing out your humanity.
He wasn't trying to say, put guys on a higher pedestal. He's saying this is what they think.
Right.
Big difference. He's like, yo, you want to compete in the market, in the dating market? This is how they think. we know they no longer have to put up with the mess because they understand their value. The good ones.
Whoa. This is crazy. When would it become a problem for men to express their value and say, no, we don't want this, we want that? Where do we go to the store and say, oh no, man, I just want to wear Buddy brands, but I want Jordans. I got money for Jordans, but they keep selling me the slip and slash tennis shoes I used to wear when I was a kid. When was it okay to do that? It never was. This is the thing. This the thing with this whole scenario. I watched, like we said, we watched and dissect his stream.
I was impressed by his ability to be consistent. He was able to play his own music and never get dinged. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff like that was like, whoa, how do you get that far? How do you get that far? And you realize when you peel back the layers, he wasn't no different than us. He wasn't no different. All he was trying to get his own version of the message out.
Right.
You look at any commentary that goes along with the Bible. Yeah, you got the Bible and you got people that wrote commentaries, their interpretation, their particular spin. You don't like it? Fine. Don't be a patron. You do like it, you can support it and maybe even evangelize it, but it's still a choice on whether these messages are yours or not.
John, you brother, that's a good point. I see you, Jennifer. This is the part I understand. My grandfather said this since I was a kid, probably before I was born. Don't get mad. Just leave. If you don't like if you don't like the message, you don't have to listen. You were never forced to listen to it. But you were what happening was you were forced to face what he was talked about because now it became in everyone's mouth. That's what the problem was too. It became a talking point now. Matter of fact, even on dating apps, they said this: if women would put in their profile, if you agree with Kevin Samuels, don't talk to me. That's serious.
Good.
Right.
At least you know where we stand. They're not wasting my time.
Oh, thank you. What's up? What it would do in no channel? Oprah gave her opinion for years, but when a man give his opinion, it's different, huh?
I think it's quite ironic that, a person literally offering their opinion about something could be deemed such a heretic.
Yeah.
I find it very, very ironic. I don't agree with his delivery. I say that right now. I think he came across in a manner that I think he could have very much improved when it came to that, because it really felt like he was attacking. But some people need that type of wake up. Some people need that kick in the behind. I don't think everybody does.
No, everybody doesn't. No.
Okay. Sometimes you need a wake up call. Sometimes you need to be splashed in the face with that water.
That's what they didn't want, Jono.
Especially when I talk to people now, like they know I'm not in the dating scene. So with a lot of people in the place where I work, people are very honest with me about their intentions. I be looking at them like, you way off. Now, I don't have to maintain a friendship with you. I don't have to maintain a relationship. So you probably want the kind of big brother talk. You know what I'm saying? And when they hear the truth, like, no, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. Right. Guys want peace. Don't come here telling people your problems.
We don't want to hear all that.
You want a man to solve your problems? Solve one of his.
Hello.
And our problems are simple. Women got complicated problems. What we want is very simple. You know what I'm saying? You could solve one of our simple problems, and we'll go to work for you. Seriously. And when you get into that psychology, then you might have a handle on it. And that's all I think Kevin was trying to do, was really trying to show how simple it would have been if you didn't make some of the choices you made. And now you got this whole rule book based on a whole different set of criteria.
And that's the thing. People didn't understand that your value changed where certain things are deducted or certain things are added. They thought that it was going to be the same no matter what.
He wasn't writing the Bible.
No.
If Matthew wrote the whole Bible, would you really read it? Some of the Gospels we were reading, according to, is a part of it, and it makes up a bigger story. And that's what you got to also understand. Like, if it don't really align with your thinking, then maybe it really was just you not being congruent with it.
Right.
That message hit with some people.
Yeah, it did.
That message that he gave hit with some people. Some people's life was changed. It ain't going to be the masses. You know, he was in talks to be on several productions, including his own show. That means he had an impact somehow that rivaled some other popular people. And the more the word got out, the more it would probably got popular.
That's right.
He was at the beginning stages, and a lot of people didn't like his momentum. That's the problem.
That's exactly what it is. And listen. And this is the thing. Everybody got. Let me say this. I see you, Asia. Everybody got a problem, and I'm be the first one. I'll be the first one. And I may not agree. You may not agree with me. I didn't care how he delivered. I've been talked to all kind of ways, and it didn't make a difference if it was a woman or a man. This isn't just me talking. It's not Jono. This is me. As you said, Jono, some people need that in your face, get your act together, because you're about to go down a road that you don't really want to go. You're headed down to a cliff. The problem is, this is the thing, a lot of people have never dealt or heard from a man and his voice and say, hey, don't you do that. It's amazing when my kids, I don't have to say much, but if I say, hey, don't do that, guess what they do?
They back up. I use that sparingly in my house.
Yeah.
So I want you to know it's serious when it's time to hear that. When it's time to hear that, if hey, what's going on? When you hear that, it's like, shut it down. Whatever you were thinking, your thought process ended. Dad's about to blow up. Mm-hmm. And I very rarely use it, because I know I don't like crying wolf, as they used to say. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you thinking that I'm gonna use that for any old thing.
Right. But man, I'm telling you, and that's the thing, man. We're dads who had dads.
Oh yeah.
So that makes a difference. And my father wasn't a hollering and screaming guy. He'll talk to you till you blue in the face and didn't get you.
Oh yeah.
So he wasn't like the one that would do that. But but I don't want to divert to us and not forget about what we're talking about here. Is that the important thing is most people cannot handle it. I think my son I guess I'm diverting again. My son, when he went to the military and when he went through boot camp, I said, son, how you feel? Okay. Well, how's it go? You were dealing with me. Yeah, I guess so. Reality kicked in. Life cares nothing about you. It is not going to cuddle you and comfort you. Plain and simple. Get over it. It's not. Most people wish they would, but it's not.
Yeah, people want like sugar-coated cream puff pastries, called life. And guess what? You get that as a reward. That's not the norm.
Right.
I'm telling you, there's one of those things that we call, hard work and dedication. I even when you go to your day-to-day problems and stuff like that, you got to look at it from the standpoint of, what have you earned? Okay. I could have looked at, I had a challenge yesterday. I could look at it, but wait a minute. I said, you know what? I prepared for a day like this, so I'm just gonna have a good day. I'm just gonna go about my business. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna get up early and just handle what should have been a challenge. I already have an answer for this, so don't turn it into something more than it had to be. Just go handle your business and do it. A lot of people don't realize these little things that get called bumps in the road and little challenges and stuff like that. You were supposed to be prepared for some of those things, and you're mad because the obstacle came up. Get over it, okay? It ain't supposed to be this puff pastry all the time. Sometimes you got to have some porridge.
Got to.
Sometimes you got to eat crow. You know what I'm saying? You have to really put ourselves in a position where get yourself into a mode of always, like this week's message. This week's message was manifestation. If you were manifesting, then you should already know. I'm just going to apply my process because it already works.
Right.
Even if it makes you shift gears or change direction or split off the beaten path, you should be prepared for this. If you were prepared, then you can handle the obstacles, and that's what we are trying to tell you. We have a hard time handling obstacles because we think that we're supposed to be coasting. I heard a message online about coasting. You know, they said, oh, the reason why they call Wednesday Hump Day was so that you could coast into the weekend. But this guy said that's completely wrong. That's completely wrong. I like the method of going to Wednesday doing course correction. Because if you planned out your week, you look at Wednesday and you course correct, what happens is you'll see the mistakes you made getting up to this point, make some corrections, and then you're not coasting into the weekend. You're running to the finish line to finish successfully.
Right.
Saturday should be your rest day because you did a job well done throughout the week. Okay? And if you are able to do that, then you can celebrate and rest. The seventh day you rest because you were building and making all week. If you read the Bible, the reason why the first 6 days, it was all work. It was all planning, building, creating, and then there was rest. And you're supposed to start over with your planning on the next week. We just forget that part sometimes. We forget the fact that we're not that. We're coasting. We're just coasting. Oh, okay. The boss told me to do this. I did my work. 5 o'clock came. I punch out the clock. I go home. Go back. Start the next day again. There's no planning. There's no creativity there. You're stuck in a hamster wheel.
That brings me to a good point, Jono. I'm gonna tell you why a lot of people were mad. A lot of people were mad at Kevin. You know why? Because he put in the work and your behind did not. And you wanted to coast into success instead of putting in the work for success. This the reason why some of you men are in your feelings.
He was honest about the outcome. He said, I want to be rich.
He said it.
I'm doing this to get rich. He said, I'm telling you the truth so that I could take this message and be rich. He said that.
Come on, that's the problem. You guys are upset because you didn't put in the work that Kevin did. But you want the success and you want to talk to Nicki Minaj. You want to have something with Cam Newton. You want to do this, but you were not willing to put in the work. All you want to do is complain, whine, and I might as well say it, and complain about women instead of putting in the work and become the man that you should be to yourself so that you can enjoy the fruit of your labor. And that fruit of your labor is the woman who shows up in your life. Get out of here with all this crap whining and craning. You ain't did no work. You weak. Plain and simple. They weak, Jono. Did he know the work we put in behind here?
Yeah.
3 o'clock in the morning trying to figure something out. Talking on the phone. Collaborating. No, that wasn't right. The numbers ain't right. What about this? All y'all want to do is eat crumbs. Nobody wants to sit at the table and say, hey, give me my plate. This is what I want. What do I need to do to work for it? This real talk, man. James Brown said it simply. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Open up the door and I get it myself. That's just real talk, man.
First of all, the problem is y'all stuck on the message. And this went way beyond the message.
Oh, it did. It did.
The fact that he was able to move himself into a better place, the fact he was able to get to a different mental state, a different financial state, that's what you should have been paying attention to.
That's it.
Forget about the message. You got stuck on the message. That's definitely a poor mindset right there. You stuck on the message alone. That was a poor mindset. What you were supposed to look at was it effective enough to reach the audience he was trying to reach? And if you saw his numbers going up, then he was doing something right.
Dingo, come on. That's it. If what was our philosophy, Jono? If he's doing it, guess what? We can do it too. I didn't. So all you thinking about women, Kevin was not our, get out of here, James Ross. Whatever. To the women that ain't got the mini man, they want to be celebrated. Kevin was no, Kevin was not a savior. He was just a messenger. And as we know, with any messenger, you're bound for somebody to attack you because they don't like the message that you're saying. This is plain, this cut to the chase, man. This ain't no sugar honey iced tea. This ain't no milk and cookies. This ain't no sugar-free, what governor said, this ain't no sugar-free cookies. You ain't getting that today. What happens is you guys got upset because the guy did something to study, to show himself improve, to make success for himself. But you ain't doing nothing because you're still working at Amazon and internet working at Amazon, but you want to be something great.
You're just mad because he picked out some statistics and showed you some truths that you probably didn't evaluate that way in the past. And all of a sudden he's wrong.
Right. Let's keep it real.
Take numbers and evaluate people's statistics and skew the numbers any way they want. They do it all day long. The Democrats can do one thing, the Republicans do another thing. You can see how they both right by the numbers they present. Why are you mad at one guy who took the numbers the way he saw it and threw it out there and was targeting a specific group of people that he saw making big mistakes?
Come on, dude. Mistakes that were crazy. How in the heaven?
You start saying, who trained? Who gave this person home training?
That's what I was, John. I wondered, did they had to put down a little pad and they put down for dogs that just been, the pads they put out for the new puppies. I'm surprised a lot of people have not got that home training at home. They have not got it at all. And I wonder, how do you think? He's trying to portray a certain
image that he was trying to talk about, but then those are the same people that was joining the show.
Come on.
He wasn't wrong. He wasn't lying.
So that's the thing here. I want you to really get this. Hey, moderators, chill. This is good. Let it roll. Let it roll. Let it roll. Promise you. Let it roll. Let it roll. Moderators, let it roll. Let it roll. I want you to really understand. Okay, as an actual savior, I meant it as relationship. Okay, I got you. No problem, James. Hey, let it roll. Let the comments roll. When they come disrespectful, that's when it was. But let it roll. Let's talk. Come on. So I want you to understand. Some people were living in a glass in a bubble and thinking that who they were was going to get a certain result when it really wasn't. And they were mad because the result that they wanted, it wasn't added up. I ain't trying against nobody who got kids or anything like this. I got kids and I'm not married anymore. But how in the heaven and earth you think a man who don't have kids, and it's a man who do it, is going to want you? What do you bring to the table? That's all he was doing. He wasn't against it if you had something to bring to the table. And guess what? I'm gonna tell you something. We got to say it. What's between your legs is not what needed to bring to the table. We talked about that this week about manifestation, didn't we, Jono? Mm-hmm. What you bring to the table is not between your legs. I'm here to tell you, it's not it. It's much bigger than that. Because we got to deal with you. Johnny, you said earlier, all we want is a peace. Peace, P-E-A-C-E, and we want a peace. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's good. Let it go in the chat room. It's good. Let it flow. So that this is a great example, but it lets me know something. Let me get to these black people. Let me get to these black people. How in the heaven and earth you think it's okay to attack your own? How in the heaven and earth you going to come and think that you're going to attack your own?
But see, that's the thing. He never attacked us, but y'all went and attacked him. All he did was identify. The big difference.
Right. Thank you.
He identified. All he did was identify and then put some definition to what he was identifying. That's all he did. And it was his observation, which I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. You're allowed to have your own opinion about stuff. The problem is, y'all took his opinion because he was trying to tell y'all what to do with that information to become visible in the group of people you were trying to be competitive in, and y'all don't like that. Y'all did not like how he was trying to give you the edge on competitiveness.
Come on.
He was trying to give you the edge.
No.
Don't have that attitude. Don't be like this. Don't have that beeping noise in your from your fire the smoke detector.
Right.
You know, trying to show you stop being the problem and start being the solution for the people you're trying to attract. Especially since you got a hard time getting the high value one, you might as well show yourself friendly to the ones you really average connected with.
Come on. But now I want to have how dare you? How dare you? You talk about his message, but you attack this man in life and in death? Did we not, Jono? Honest to God, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Did we not give his flowers when he was alive?
Of course.
What did we say? KS, we got you. Kevin, we said Kevin. We gave his flowers. So don't come here talking that we're trying to placate or
positive you can find in anybody's message. You can find positivity in it.
Yeah.
We're not saying it's not possible. What we're trying to say is you already had him judged before he even got the message out because of his approach. If you watch the whole stream, you see he did come to some conclusion. Matter of fact, if you look at his evolution from 2 years ago till now, he did tone it down. But when it came time to see what's right is right, he still got up that behind.
Yeah, that's right. And that's the thing, man. A lot of people have not got course correction. That's this the real thing. You haven't got course correction and you think you're going right and you actually going wrong. You have not got course correction. And now with somebody, now that the person that you think is saying something, you can't stand the course correction. All you want somebody to give you a binky, give you your bottle, and rock you to sleep. Baby, this world ain't gonna do that. And what's gonna happen is all those who are talking all this crap, guess what's gonna correct people perceive his message wrong. Right. And what's gonna happen is this. A lot of people are going to go back and look at Kevin's catalog and say, duh, he was right on what he said. A lot of women's going to go back and look into his catalog. Man, he was right on what he said, because you're going to realize his message is going to hit different. I hate that. I don't like to say it. It's going to hit different now that he's not here.
The message is going to disappear.
Yeah.
What you're going to find is that his copycats, you're going to find the truth in how toxic what he was saying could happen, because he had a clear message. Some people ain't going to maintain that. It's going to take their little pieces out of it and then turn it into their little mantra. And then you're going to see the truth coming out of those people next.
We got something right here. Okay. Please define what that word means. Please define. You got all that holler in there. Please define this. I'm sorry, we're full loaded today. Please define that word, since you want to say one less misogynist. Please define that word. Please define that word. Please do. Please define that word. You go Google and define that word before you use something you don't know what it means. Please define that word. Dude, today is not the day with me. Today is not the day. Please to go define that word. I put your name up there. Ask the person, you a male or female. Please define that word. Please define what you're talking about. For you to even come into this stream, that is a man's channel. who also talks to women and use that. Please define that word. We use definitions. That's why we call it a thinking class. Don't put it on timeout. Define that word. Please define that word. It's interesting. People, you know, John, we talk about this, right? People come in and use words you don't know definitions to. They're only using like they use the word narcissist because it's the catchphrase to use.
Yeah, but they be the same ones that was watching the channel.
Come on.
Watching his channel. That's why they call it that.
Correct.
You go there with your 10-word vocabulary, and all of a sudden you only point it in one direction when you realize he was actually pretty skillful in his words. That's why he very rarely apologized for anything. You never seen him make a retraction.
No. I'm waiting on. Don't put it on timeout. Don't put the person on timeout. Do not touch the moderators. Let them say what they need to say. Baby, you about to be whoever you are. You about to be the example today. Using words, don't know definitions. You heard something you read and from your girlfriend and told you. Use it, dude.
You got them people from the peanut gallery throwing up opinions. They ain't never been on the field.
Never been in the field. Ain't never been there.
They've been sent home. You ever been sent home from the game? You know, well, you ain't doing too good. Pack up. Get dressed. Meanwhile, they're at home talking and ain't in the game no more.
Right. I'm putting it out there. Define the word. Come in here. Nobody defined it for this person. I let you comment up on purpose. Don't worry. Nobody defined it. I want this person. Don't put it in timeout. Define it. Let's take them out of timeout. I want them. I don't want nobody in there but this individual that's on the screen to define it. For you to come into this channel and say that, whether you agree or disagree with Kevin, because we didn't say we agree or disagree with Kevin. We're saying we're honoring him for what he did do, and we did study. So don't come in here with that stuff. Please define it. Because there's a counter definition for a woman who does the same thing, right? But we don't talk about that. So please come in here with your clear definition. I'm waiting on you, baby. Don't put them in timeout. This is definition time. I remember I don't know, in school, when I was in school, we had to write in you have bell work when you came in. Baby, you late for bell work. It's already up there. Please define this word for us. Don't worry. Nobody attacked. And then we were to really pull the cover. I will give you the link to come up, but I'm sorry, you're not going to happen today. Because I don't need nobody trying to do some crazy stuff. I'm telling you, this is right there. Where'd the person go? Definition time. Thank you. Bell work. Thank you. Thank you, Brown Hornet. Bell work. Where's the bell work? Johnny, you remember bell work? I hated bell work, man. Hated bell work. Come on, we waiting on you.
Well, she made another comment. She didn't answer you. So.
Oh, of course she ain't gonna answer me. You know why? For you to even say that, and you don't personally know this man, you're going on YouTube clips and you're going on your opinion of how you feel, and you think he's a personally attack you. That's the real other issue. People think it's a personal attack against them. Anytime you watch them, they always divest it to what? Or they already diverted, back to them. Are you talking about me? I guess we got to mark an F on this report, on their report card, because you haven't said anything. I haven't seen anything. Where's your definition? John, I hate to do this. You know what I mean? We're trying to honor this man. We're trying to honor this man.
Too much time on this.
Yeah. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. So back to Kevin. We already clearly said this man was not perfect. Didn't have it all together. None of us does. But his message was penetrating main media, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
He had an impact.
Yeah.
He had an impact, and that's the thing. You got to look at that part of it. Okay, a lot of people don't agree with Hitler's message, but guess what? He had an impact. A lot of people, disagree with some of our president's impact, but they had an impact, and we got to look at it from that standpoint. He had command over an audience, and like I said, I truly believe he had more people joining that didn't agree with him that did. Because matter of fact, when the people that came on and agreed, he used to send them off with even more rude comments. Thank you for agreeing with me, but this show ain't about that. Boom, and hang up on them.
Click, bye. Thanks, appreciate it. And the reason why, think about it, you want
conflict. He wanted the smoke.
Correct. And the reason why you need the smoke, please understand, that was strategic. That's great marketing. The reason why you want the smoke, baby, it's because you get to draw out what is the truth. The truth. Truth is brought out when when something is confronted. How do you know what you're saying is true and that it stands on its 10 toes if you never confront it? You can't do it.
And how you gonna actually put yourself in a position where you feel that just because your opinion is different or you have a stance that nobody else could be different than you, you're supposed to take perspective. You're supposed to collaborate. Nobody said you had to agree. Like I said, I could tell you profusely, we didn't actually agree with what the person did, but we do understand the message and the purpose thereof. And that's you gotta put it from a standpoint of that. Put yourself in a position of I took a new perspective, and some people ended up getting in alignment with what he said and changed their situation with it. I know it didn't work for me. I know my wife don't really have a tendency for that man. But then again, I told her, see, when you're a married woman, why would you? He wasn't trying to help you. Matter of fact, the married women, he used to tell them, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to the single ones. Those are the ones that are out of touch. If you 45, 50 years old and single, you, in his opinion, you were part of the problem messing up the younger generation.
Bingo.
You never learned how to get a man. Now you gotta teach the next generation how not to have a man.
There it is. I feel like Run DMC. There it is. What are you? That's what he was bringing up. What are you women who are already married, got a man, whatever? What do you teach the younger generation? To be like you? Miserable?
And he would often have them talking to each other. Pick somebody young, pick somebody older, have them talk to each other. Tell him your opinion as an older person, and then he'll show you right away. Look at what you became this whole time you've been waiting, and hopefully fix what was going on in the younger ones.
Oh my God! Right? Come on now. When you're going against black woman, you're going against God. Please say that for somewhere else. When you go against God, you're going against somebody else. Go, please, young lady. Please, young lady. Please, young lady. Please, young lady. I understand there has to be some education here.
It's not when you say the word against. First of all, on this channel, we talk about empowerment. We bring everything back to responsibility. We bring everything back to you. So it don't matter if you're a woman or a man. We don't have to attack nobody. All we got to say is what inside you attracted that. Maybe that's the real issue.
Thank you.
That's what we do. We bring it back to responsibility. We don't bring it back to society. We don't bring it back to roles and gender. What we do is bring it back to you. And what you should be doing every time is finding a way to take responsibility for your situation. There ain't no outward situation that's responsible for what happened to you in your life. There's nothing outside responsible for that. Even the negative stuff, all of the circumstances that led up to that somehow had you involved.
Yeah. So when you go against black woman, you're going against God, baby.
You're going against anybody.
You can't.
You're going against anybody because we already believe God's inside us. So if we attracted God in the form of you, then yeah, going against that entity would be an issue. But it's not. So it's not shoehorned into one genre or one type of person. To me, that's the problem when you call it and label a categorization that's incorrect.
Correct. Come on. You don't realize. You don't realize where God is.
He was showing you with every broadcast, he was showing you that you cannot take the smallest percentage of our availability and spread it across the entire availability of Black women. You literally was looking at less than 1% of the available men that they wanted across 50% of all the available women. That's just not possible. You might have to pick somebody average. You might have to pick somebody with less than $100,000. You might have to pick somebody that may be less than worthy when it came to looks. But back in the day, all that was acceptable, and now it's not because your parents, your older family members, influence in school, all those people told you to go get something that may not be possible in your particular availability range. And if you thought it is possible, guess what? You're gonna have competition.
That's what the problem is, John. John.
So you're telling me when you have a bunch of competition, it could be 100 to 1, and you bring your requisites that you're not willing to change, like how many fathers you had with all the children you had, and when you have the circumstance of not being the correct weight for your height, and you not being the right dress size, and you not having the right cooperation level, and you not having the right language, all those things are working against you in a competition situation. You in the bottom of the barrel at that point. There's people that stepped on you don't even know about it. There's people in different races, people with different mindset, people with different money, people with different degrees, people with different consciousness. They all were against you in that particular competition realm, and you don't even know it. That's why you're sitting home alone.
And that's why you think you can come on this channel, baby, which is what? A man's channel, right? That we have women on and say something that you don't even know who we are. You clicked on because you see rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. That's why you came on. You need to go back and listen to our catalog. About 500, I think it's about 500 videos.
Yeah.
And find out what we teach over here. We don't teach the blame game over here. We don't come like that. We teach the gospel of responsibility and accountability. So when you come over here, please know what you're saying, and please understand where the location of God is. If you think it's just in one gender, you already missed the message of where God is. You have a skewed view of who God is. Come on. I know what I'm talking about. You have a skewed view of where God is. You need to go check your GPS system, because clearly you forgot where he is. Because where were you at when they were going against men? Where were you at when women came against men? Were you going against God then? Where were you at when they were going against men, black men? Since you want to use black men, where were you at? I don't hear you saying, be careful now. Don't go against black men because they gods. You ain't gonna say that. You ain't gonna say that.
Protecting each other a long time ago.
Say that again.
Y'all wanted to protecting us when we was getting, all you did was say, oh, that's a shame. You never wanted to protect us when we were getting beat in the street.
Where were they at? Oh, yeah, right.
Crickets.
Ain't hear nothing. Y'all have no, and please don't get this. Please, I see what you said right there. Oh, you're doing it to get views. I'm not doing this to get your clout chasing, thinking butt out of here. We're doing this because we honor this man that's passed on, because we in the fraternity, of content creators. You don't know the struggle. All you is an opinion and a butthole who comments on these channels. You don't know what we have to go through. You don't know the struggle.
It's true. And the struggle of trying to find a message to make sure it stays in alignment with what our belief system is, and then on top of that, to also be relevant for you to take it and say, oh, you know what, I could use that.
Right.
That's a skill. It's a skill level.
Dude, people don't understand.
What he did was find his niche, and a lot of people don't want to give him respect for that.
Right.
He found his niche, and guess what? For 375,000 to 500,000 views per stream, you can't fault the person for his success level.
Okay, you can't. I know, baby. You want attention from us. Let's just, John. We gotta stop giving.
Somebody else want views.
Yeah, that's what it is. You want attention, baby. I understand. You ain't used to dealing with some black man that dress nice, got a New York hat on, when then with me with the brim, who just got pushed by the brand to post my picture. I know it's hard for you. I know we look good. I know we intelligent. I know it's hard for you. You ain't getting this attention at home. I'm sorry. The kids are at daycare. I hate that. I mean, I understand. I understand. It's okay.
I'm telling you. I take the same risk. I come on here. I know I'm a married man. I know I got 4 children. But guess what? The message is same. Is still the clear. You got to take responsibility for you. The message is the same.
Yeah.
Guess what? All we got to do is show you where you have stopped being you. All we have to do is show you where you should be you. And that is not. It don't got the label man. It don't got the label woman. It got the label you.
She wanted attention so bad. Ain't that something? You ever see a little dog that's sitting in the corner and just want to be?
You give no place to that.
Yeah.
All right, we can move on.
Yeah. So let's go back to the next thing. The next thing with Kevin that I thought was quite interesting, which a lot of people don't know, is that his goal really was to bridge the gap between men and women and bring them together. That's what most people don't. If you really listen to the message, you really realize that Kevin's goal was to bring the message, to bring men and women together so that they can build a community together. But first, you got to deal, in order before you can do that, you got to deal, somebody got to take some medicine.
It's true.
Somebody got to take some medicine. There has to be some healing. And what happens is we got a lot of people who are not healed. And you can't get into a relationship, build a nation, build a community if one or two parties are sick. It's called what? It calls a mass pandemic. And we had a pandemic. Now he was dealing with a pandemic that was so steep inside of our culture that people didn't realize that they were sick, Jono.
It's true. It's true. I could agree with that. People were not realizing what was wrong because we're stuck in your head about stuff. Once you bring it out and put it on the table, it's hard to. It was now evident that some things that were not being considered was actually on the table, and we need to really look at that. We need to look at that and say, "Hey, guess what? There's some things I was thinking about as an individual that was single, and guess what? If I'm still single and I'm still making mistakes, maybe there's some things I could consider changing when it comes to these numbers." And that's what we're trying to look at it. So what? Go past the delivery, go past the attitude, go past, he obviously was terrible at doing interviews. He was horrible at it, right? He couldn't, he wanted to control so much of the conversation, the person couldn't get nothing out. All right. I agree with that one. Okay. But if you look at the message, he was trying to at least steer you into what you should have been thinking about instead of being in your head about all the wrong stuff. That's what I believe in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what it is. And so, and I think what happens is people didn't like that because you know what? You know what I realized, Jono? Even with his message, some people were comfortable in their mess. Some people were comfortable in their mess. They did not really want to get into a healthy relationship and have a healthy marriage or
I told you this before. people want to talk about their bad news. They
There you
want
go.
people to fester in their own bad news. They have better time talking to somebody familiar and wasting their time than going changing their outcomes. You have control over your outcome, but you don't want to change it because you like talking about it to every person that will listen to it. And that is more important to you. It's more important you getting in the gym. It's more important you changing your look. It's more important you for losing weight. It's more important you than you getting the right man in your life. It's more important than you forgiving your past. You won't do those things because it's easy to pick up the phone and talk to your friend that will just let you talk their ear off. Meanwhile, they hit the mute button and they're watching TV. They're not even listening to you no more. They don't even care. They already know what your conversation is going to be about. Oh, this is weekend number 625. I ain't find a man. They're going to say, so what? So what? If they was really your friend and say, listen, man, hang up the phone and let's go out. Or I'm going to hang up the phone and I'm going to go find me a man because hanging around you keeps one from me. And that's what we got to be congruent with. We got to be really conscious and congruent with the fact that we are in denial about what's wrong with us sometimes. And a person that opens up and peels back the wounds and peel back the scab of what's really hurting you and gets you to really pay attention to it, put some medical attention to it is wrong. It's wrong not to address it. Okay? If somebody chops your finger off, you are going to be paying attention to that situation until it is solved because you might bleed out. But some of you got a paper cut for 10 years and you never addressed it. You never addressed the problem that's causing you ongoing pain. If you would have addressed your ongoing pain, you would have been healed. If you would have just went to 6 months of therapy, you would have saved 10 years of strife dealing with your baby father. If you would have just listened to your parents when they told you don't do that, or at least take some objective opinion about it, and then look at your situation and see where it can be applied, you would have saved years of strife, years of wasting time.
A lot. But most people want to live with their sickness. They want to live with their sickness because it's comfortable. Most people are comfortable in their dysfunction. And what happens is, regardless of what you regardless of what you thought about Kevin, you were looking at the messenger and not the message. And that's what got you messed up, because you refuse to look in the mirror at your own self and say, you know what? Somewhere in me, I'm jacked up. Somewhere in me, I'm not getting right. Do you understand that people get paid off of you being dysfunctional?
He did it unapologetically. He was saying, I'm gonna get this money because I know y'all ain't gonna like the message. He knew it. He knew it. So that's what you got to look at. For all y'all other content creators out there, look at what he was willing to sacrifice. He sacrificed his own darn name and his reputation. And now that's why you can look at his current situation and see some of the negativity and laugh at it, because he already sacrificed those things. He already made a choice to sacrifice his reputation for his message.
And my thing is, I got to ask this question. Everybody got heat for Kevin. Some of you content YouTubians and Instagramians and TikTokers and all these Twitters. Can we put the cameras on your life and what will we see? What would we see? Baby, we'll realize that what you saying on these YouTube streets don't add up. Let's be real talk. Let's talk about it for real. That's just the real deal. The man did what he needed to do. And I don't want to belabor too long with this, but it's so important that people understand. You may not like them. You may not agree with him. You might have thought he was plumb dumb crazy. But one thing you gonna do, and I had to say this to someone, John. I don't know if I told you a story before. I said it behind the scenes. If you going to disrespect Kevin in front of me and say something to me like that about Kevin, whether you agree or not, I'm going to watch you, because I'm going to say, you know what? Would you do that to me because I'm in the same industry and I am a black man?
It's a limited mindset. If you can't look at that objectively, I'm telling you, I got people in my own house that don't agree with it. I'm saying this, if you can't look at it objectively and you already put that wall up, there's a limitation to your understanding, a big limitation.
Yeah.
Okay, because there are people that have influence that you know in this world should not have had that platform, but somehow their message got through.
Yeah. I take things. I really had to tell the person. I'm like, look, are you gonna say that about him? I know we may not agree completely with Kevin and what he says and things like that, but baby, you're not gonna belittle this man in front of me. See, most guys can't do that because they're so afraid that they're gonna lose the kitty cat.
Oh yeah,
that's what it is.
If you could lose it that easily, you never had it.
Oh my God.
If you could lose it on the opinion of somebody else, on just somebody's name, you never had it.
Never had it. That's game right there. They don't want none of this.
I could play Kevin Samuels on my big screen TV. I don't never shy from that. Because at the end of the day, and I don't have to rationalize either. I want to hear the message. I want to see why this man has all these views. That's my reason. I don't have to come up with no other reason.
Right.
And I don't have to have no other explanation either.
Oh, I don't want to send this. I don't want to send this way. I'll be trying to come, but I can't put it in the chat room. God, dog. Can't put the chat room in there.
For the messenger.
Oh yeah. But yeah. But this foolishness, man. I promise you. I promise you. Today, I hope you guys learned something from the thinking class. Welcome to where men talk, where we're not bashing women.
Yeah,
we ain't bash. You hear us bash women.
Have respect. We have respect, and we show you the truth. We don't have to hide behind the veil of masculinity.
So all you think we come in here, he gonna talk about black women, he gonna put them down, he gonna say this, he gonna say this. This ain't, we ain't on that. I promise you we ain't.
Yeah. You'd rather take the time to realize, listen, I got daughters and a wife, so I don't come up here posing as something I'm not. You can ask anybody in the chat room who I really am. I'm the same guy. I don't have to play nothing. I talk about whole responsibility. I don't talk about female this and male that. You won't ever hear that come out of my mouth unless I'm correcting somebody. Look at it from a standpoint of who you are in humanity, okay? We're human first, and so was Kevin. Kevin was human, okay? All that talk and all that image consulting and all that stuff, and he still snorted a line like the best of them, okay? That's the way he was, okay? You have to accept that part of him, the same way you got to accept Will's faults. You got to accept Chris Rock's fault. You got to accept the people who put them up there and let them behave like that. There's faults in all kinds of stuff going on. You have to accept that they are not perfect. You ain't perfect either.
That's the problem.
You sit in the peanut gallery. You sitting up in the stadium. You ain't even make it to the court. You ain't even in the game. You can't talk. You can't talk. Give yourself a chance to see the example. Every good example and bad example can teach you. And if you don't look at this as a way to get taught, then you're just as ignorant as the statements some people make.
Yeah. Trust me. If you check the channel, check our content. We do not bash black women, but what we will do for black women, black men, I don't care what race, what color you are, you red, green, blue, white. Guess what you would do? You will be held accountable.
Absolutely.
You will be held accountable. We teach the gospel of responsibility over here. If you don't want to be responsibility, go back to daycare where somebody can change your diaper.
Yeah. And if you can't handle, you know, some people may not be able to admit they can't handle stuff, the mirror. Some people can't handle being shown themselves in front of everybody. You want to stay a troll on the internet, you'll never have to look at nobody else. You'll never have to look at yourself when you're looking at everybody else on the internet. When you are a pocket watcher and you checking on everybody else's stuff, you never checking yourself. You never know when you right. So you can stay that way, but you know what? You're never gonna get anywhere better. If you make yourself accountable, I like what Willie just said, accountability is key. If you make yourself accountable, then there's nobody to blame but you.
No
And
one.
we'll take that on any gender.
Anything. So with that being said, I don't know waiting for Alfie to come up, but yeah, so he's probably gonna say some key things we said already with some extracurricular words. But I want to make sure we emphasize this whole thing with Kevin Simon. I'm please don't even think we trying to be we on Kevin jock. Because I see some of you YouTubians up in here, you on Kevin's jock, y'all riding Kevin's jock. No. When you in a fraternal order of content creators, you don't know what's going on. This is what you do. This is how you honor somebody else. That's how you honor someone else. And what we're doing is we're giving us flowers. What? Now. And what happens is, if we were to really pull back the covers and look, you see a flawed man. You see a flawed man who was trying to make change.
And he was trying to teach himself too. He was trying to get himself delivered.
Thank you.
He was trying to get himself delivered. He was trying to tell you while he was telling himself in the mirror too. He saw himself as not successful. And then he got his first taste of success. Now he's trying to get responsible with it and bring as many people along with him as he can. He may not have been handing out money, but he was definitely showing people who wanted to do what he was doing the way.
Yeah. And what can we say about your life when you pass? You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna give an award for the best troll. I'm not talking about you, accountability, because I see what you said. That's why I'll let you comment on there so y'all can see it up there. What would they say about you? What legacy do you have? Or do you have
here lies a lot of smart comments.
Right. Yeah. Here lies a lot of smart comment. I was the queen of trolling on Twitter, Facebook, and on different places. What would they say about you? You have 5 different men, 5 different husbands. What will they say about you? So forget Kevin right now. The reality is on you. You can have all the smoke for Kevin. You can have all the things you want to say, but what in the hell they're going to say about you? You're the queen of trolling, the king of trolling. What are they going to say about you?
Are they going to say you ever took a risk to get on your own platform to put your views and your statements out there? That takes risk. That takes guts. He put his whole reputation out there just to see if he can make it. And that's what every content creator has to think about every day. That's what you got to think about, LDA. That's what I got to think about. Getting on this platform, we're sitting here with people we never met before, and we got to defend ourselves. The point is, the reason why we do it is because our message needs to get out.
Yeah. Appreciate that, tribe. Thank you so much. What would they say about you? Y'all may not like Kevin. I really don't care if you like him or not. It doesn't even matter to me. It don't matter. You know why? Because at the end of the day, the mirror is always looking at you. You are always manifesting you. And what Kevin did was he took the mirror that you've been manifesting to our teaching this week and showing you yourself. And when you look in the mirror, baby, you didn't look as pretty as you thought. You wasn't as handsome as you thought. Your stuff wasn't together and you didn't like what was in the mirror. So you attacked the mirror, what you thought was Kevin, but you were really attacking yourself. You were attacking yourself.
All Kevin ever represented was a part of you that should have kicked you in the behind. That's all it was. And some of y'all don't recognize that just because it didn't come out in the best possible language or the best possible representation of a person, just the fact that a man even telling you that maybe have offended you. But what you got to really look at is what were you ignoring about yourself that you never addressed?
Right. Dude, right. Yeah, Big Shirley in the house. Big Shirley, you want to come up? You can come up, baby. We got you. But accountability, it starts with you. And at the end of the day, Kevin's gone. His message has stopped. There's nothing, he can't make another video. But when you look at you still here, you're going to have to face some things about you that you're not going to like. And someone, if it's not Kevin, somebody else is going to what? tell you that truth. Yes, the gospel of responsibility. That's what we do here, John. Gospel of responsibility. And ain't nobody fault. It ain't the man, it ain't the woman, it's you. So save it. It's the gospel of responsibility. And most people don't want to be responsible. They want to blame it. It's because my mama did that. It's because I can't lose weight. It's because it's you. Light went out. The light said he couldn't take it no more. Let me put this light on. I thought it was Jada at first. I told Jada to stop playing with the lights, and plus with the bill is paid. Thought it was Jada over here. Jada, don't be playing over here with yourself. You gotta understand how we can do better. Thank you so much, Camille. That is so true. Study the great historian John Henry Clark. And one of my famous statements, quotes from John Henry Clark, I debate with my equals, and all others I teach. That's John Henry Clark's one of his. I debate, and you realize that Kevin really didn't debate with people that was debate with people. You debate with my equals, and all others I teach.
You know what I liked about him? He would size you up before he would debate with you. He wanted to make sure you qualified to even be in the conversation.
Oh, you got that right. You're so right. Well, how tall are you? How much you weigh? What's your dress size? How can you say when you don't even qualify to be in this conversation?
He's like, what? You 21 years old? Sit down.
My dad just told me. That's the thing. Most people are not used to being sized up. Think about it. When you go for a job, what do they do for you? They ask you, do you qualify for the job before you got to make sure you qualify for the job that you're applying for.
Absolutely.
So what happens is you think you qualify for a job that you ain't qualified for and that people are not hiring for. That's the real issue. You think that the consumer wants to buy your product. That's why a lot of women was tightening their jaws about it.
Oh, he gonna deal with me. I got 3 kids and I don't got nothing to bring to the table, but he gonna deal with me.
I got that.
I'm sorry, baby girl. You got to bring more than just a kitten.
I'm telling you, kitten ain't gonna cut it. Because
matter of fact, guys are learning how to cut that off.
That's what scares women.
We cut that right off. We cut that right out the equation. Okay, what's next?
That's what scares them, Jono.
You're gonna bring me a bunch of financial problems. You're gonna bring me a bunch of your bills after I got my own set of bills. You actually gonna bring me something I can replace in one night with just a couple, with a couple of bills being passed along. Come on, you gotta come with something else. Sorry.
Yeah.
You better contribute.
That's they see. That's the wake up call that they didn't really want to talk about.
And trust me, I'm married. For you to hear that from a married man, you got to look at it from a standpoint of what kind of wealth are we building? What kind of legacy are we building for our children? What kind of foundation are we putting in our kids' minds so we have functioning people in society? That's what I think about. You can't just come with some kitten. Kitten ain't gonna work, after a while.
Dry up, ain't gonna want to work. All you want to do is bring these kittens around. Your kitten can't pay the bills. Well, it can if you're a pimp, but we ain't talking about that. We ain't talking about that. We ain't talking about that.
Listen on that. Well, ain't today's lesson.
Ain't today's lesson about that. But your kitten is not the prize, baby. It is not the prize. Do you know that there's so many kittens out there? There's a lot of kittens out there.
You got a whole pet store.
Correct. PetSmart. Everywhere. But when you realize that what you have is the woman on the inside, the character of who you are, the peace that you bring, the joy that you bring, that what a man really wants, the kitten takes on a whole different flavor or a whole different meaning now. You don't lead with your kitten, you lead as a woman. I'm just saying, people need to hear this going on, Jermaine. But yeah, people try to lead with that kitten. Wait a minute. That's There's a bunch of cats over there. I don't even have to chase. They come and rub on my leg. I don't even have to.
Wearing my favorite color. You over there. You over there trying to explain yourself. They already wearing my favorite color. They got it on display.
On display. Uh-oh.
They telling me to go pet it.
Right. So I want to do this. Uh-oh, guess who's coming? Uh-oh.
You making me chase you, but they telling me to come pet it.
Get out of here. Uh-oh, guess who's here? Uh-oh. Mo2 about to come in. We about to activate now. Jesus Christ.
Hey.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Voltron.
Well, first off, I appreciate you letting me come in here. You know what I'm saying? Afi, what up? That's why I want to throw some tithe on it. But I'll just go real quick. I just saw the thing with Kevin Samuels is I said this in the chat. If you give people honey at first, right, and you give it to them in a nice way, a lot of times people won't listen or they'll dismiss it. So these issues that Kevin Samuels brought up, he said to men have said a long time to women, hey, you know, could you be more submissive? Could you not do this? Could you not do that? Women didn't want to hear that. But then you give them the vinegar. Now they listen because they don't like the tone or it hurts them or whatever. But now you complain, well, why you can get more flies with honey than vinegar? But we already gave you the honey and you're not listening. So that's why I think it's good that he did it like that, because it forced people. Sometimes you have to make people mad for them to listen. Just like when Tupac said, when we were trying to get civil rights and freedom, we were being nice. We were knocking on the door saying, hey, can we get our, you know, our civil rights? Can we get our equal value and all that? Nobody listened. Then we turned into the Black Panthers and wanted to knock some shit down. And then now people want to listen. So that's what I'm saying. You can't just give people stuff the right way. It took Kevin Samuels to give that harsh delivery for people to pay attention. And they only listened to one part. What about when he said that men should pay for everything? What about when he was talking about men should be high value and make a certain amount of money? What would he talked about when men need to dress accordingly and be put themselves in the best possible position in corporate America? How come we don't talk about that? But we only talk about one aspect that most people disagreed on that hurt people in their feelings. That's what we're highlighting. We're not highlighting the whole thing. That's all.
Man, good point. Jesus Christ. Uh-oh, Alpha Kingdom. I heard you earlier, and what you got to say? I know you about to hurt somebody's little feelings. Don't hurt the kitty cats over here, Alfie.
You was about to get off, or you?
No, go ahead. Get on these kitty cats.
All right, I'm gonna say this.
I already know
women. I'm just trying not to go there. Just women. Let me just talk to the women real quick. Women feel like the things that they care about are the things that we care about. Now, I've done a poll recently on my community, and the number one thing men care about, real men, is a positive energy, bro. And the number one thing that we don't like is women that aren't accountable. Y'all think you guys always talk about red bottoms and how much money you making. Y'all care about that. Y'all care about that. Men, we don't put it in the chat. You guys in the chat. Do we care if a woman makes six figures and wear red bottoms? That's not what men care about. You know what I'm saying? That's why you attract attention from women, but you don't have a man. You got to understand what a man wants. And a woman needs to listen to a man to figure out what what he desires. You can't ask your friends and all of that. That's single. You see what I'm saying? If you want a man, you have to listen to a man, because you can have all these things that you pride yourself in having, but are you single or are you not single? And that's the point. You can have all these things, but do you want to be by yourself or do you want to mate? If you want to mate, you're going to have to humble yourself a little bit and comply. Because guess what? There's a woman, you got six figures, you got a Benz, but there's a woman, you make 160, but there's a woman that makes 65. She listens, she's respectful, and she has positive energy. And that's how we
he went into the Voltron mode. Alpha, you went into that Voltron. You went into the underwater. Don't let Jada do that to you.
On you, and you think, man, she knows man won't. You don't. That's it, man. So I'm just tapping in. I know you're probably about to get off because you've been on for a minute, but respect. I'm glad to see you doing your thing. LDA. Shout out to Trav. Shout out to Jono. Hope y'all take these gems and subscribe to the channel, man. And I'm gonna be listening. Motu Blairs.
Damn, that's the thing. I think what happens is women and Kevin brought that out in his channel. You need to find out what the consumer wants and not give the consumer what you think he wants.
On both sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like when the first Kevin Samuels video went viral, all we saw is the small clip of average at best, right? So out of a whole, what was it, 20, 30-minute interview or whatever that was, that's the clip that went viral and got focused on and created his whole narrative of who he was as a person, the woman basher. But why don't people ever highlight the whole interview where he was talking about one topic, she came on, forced her way to talk about another topic he didn't want to talk about, and he said, I'm going to use this as a learning lesson for y'all to see how I can tell you, especially Black women, how we're talking about one thing, but you want to force me to talk about what you want to talk about, even though this is not the show to do it. And then during the interview, she was laughing at things he said, being disrespectful, not staying on task, doing all that, and not answering his questions directly and all that. And that led up to the point where he had to go off on her because she was not being an adult in the situation and not being logical and reasonable. So it's just like with the child. If you're going on the interview, you're being at the liability of how he wants to handle it. If you didn't want to be on the interview, don't go on the show. That's simple. So you're going to comply to his rules. Then you don't want to listen. So if you're at a job and you don't listen to the rules of the job, and then you get punished for that, the job is wrong, but you knew what the terms of the agreement were.
I try to understand that. You're right. Most people think they can come up and do whatever they want to do. You can't do that. Where do they do that at?
Speaking of jobs, who says you entitled to get the job?
Oh,
you ain't entitled to that. Just because I'm a man don't mean I need what you have. I have options too, and that's the thing. Because a lot of women have been shoehorned into thinking that they are the pedestal item, that they ain't no other choices. Trust me, there are other choices out there, and we don't have to pick what we don't accept and what we don't feel is right for us. We're not compromising no more. We don't have to. We know the world got 6 billion people in it, 7 billion people in it, and half of them are women. And guess what? Actually, the women are beating the men in terms of quantity. So guess what? We got more options.
Who got more options?
Unfortunately, statistically, it's the men. So you gotta instantly start thinking, and that availability goes down because we take the most risks. The women live the longest. So guess what? We take the most risks. Guess what? There's more y'all available.
They don't want to face the truth that men have more options and that they should take the options that are given to them.
Well, I'm gonna clarify that. Men that are handling their business, because we got a lot of males out here, and yeah, by gender, by biology, they're men, but they're not men up here. They're not men in here. They're not men with this. That's what I'm saying. So with the men that are handling their BI, we have a lot more options because the weaker men make it easier for us. So if that is the case, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, why am I supposed to take a woman of lesser value than what I deserve if I put in the work? Because I can't just be a woman, and because most men are so objectifying to women that I could just go to the gym and look good and be in shape and get the majority of what I want from men or from women, like women can do with men. If that was the case, I would be doing 10 times better than I am now, and I'm not doing too bad. But guess what? Not only do I have to be in shape, but look good and do all these things, I got to be intelligent. I got to have charisma. I got to be like Superman compared to what a woman could just be Lois Lane. So if that's the case, I'm trying to get maximum value for what I'm doing to earn my right. So if that's the case, why is that such a harsh thing for women to understand? Why is it wrong that you guys can have standards and have OWN, Lifetime, Hallmark, where these channels bash men all the time? And we accept that because, oh, that is what it is. But let men have a YouTube channel or some YouTube channels where we talk about what we want and what we're dealing with. Now we're misogynist.
Y'all don't even say that word. Come on, they can't define it. Don't define it either. Yeah, that's the truth.
You're actually giving away the secret. You're giving away the secret, Trav. Don't give away the secret. You're literally telling Samuel's message in reverse. What he was trying to say is, because you actually have the ability to show yourself as having the ability to do these things, you have more options because there's so many women looking for that type of person and they're not available. Think about it.
Right.
You're giving away the secret. This is the reason why there's so many people coming after the available men that have something going for them. Because average at best for a man, a woman ain't even looking for.
They ain't what?
They're not even looking for them, and they should. In the 50s, they did it. They did it with house coats. They didn't have nothing pinned up on their face and marked up like a clown. They did it with house coats, okay? But you somehow feel like you're entitled to the most available and best possible available men out there. Guess what? It's slim pickings for us because there ain't that many out there. And that's why you have competitions. So when you have a bunch of kids and baby fathers, yes, that limits your availability. When you have a ratchet attitude, yes, that limits your availability. When you have ran yourself through and you have all these prerequisites, yes, that limits your availability because there are people who have none of those issues. We're looking for them.
No, Jono. These women believe they can have it all.
You're giving it away. Don't give it away, Trav.
They can have it all, Jono.
Give it away now.
They believe they can have it all.
But here's the thing too, right? And some of it does come from this Disney programming. And it is that. Look at the narrative. Prince Charming, with all that he had to chase Cinderella, a stepsister that washed dishes. Part of that subliminal programming is with how we grew up, is why it is the way it is. It is a lot of it our fault. As men, we have to bite the bullet on that. A lot of it's our fault with the pedestalization and not having standards. Because a man could say that he stands for this, this, and that. Throw a beautiful, curvy woman in front of him. Standard goes out the window. And that's the problem. So men have to learn, and this is what Kevin Samuels was talking about in a different way, but I'm going to say it like this. Instead of the Cinderella narrative, we have to start the Cinderfella narrative. We have to be the one that's the prize that's getting chased. And that comes with putting in work. Anything that you want in life, you have to put in work. So as long as you're putting in the work, yes, if you checked off all these check boxes and you go to a job and you go, you got to hit this to get this amount of money or this raise, what do you think you're going to do if you've done that or excelled expectations? You're knocking on that door and go, here's my case. Why is that different in a relationship?
And didn't Kevin do that for years before he started turning the focus on women? He did that for men. He talked to them about washing yourself, getting the right cologne, having the right room. That's where the whole candle thing came from. Getting the right environment for that room to make sure you're gonna be ahead of 90% of guys that don't try none of this stuff. You're gonna be ahead because you at least took these small steps to get yourself ahead.
Yeah,
that was his mantra before he started going after women.
If I'm saying myself and I'm like, hey, I want a submissive woman and I would like for her to cook and I'm gonna do my part. Well, look at this kitchen you gonna get. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm having you up in the damn school cafeteria. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bruh. Like, but it's still just always a problem because guess what? The narrative for women is exist, have a gap between your legs, you get what you want. And men fueled that fire. Now it's saying, hey, you got to put in work too. and be accountable if you don't put in that work. Women did not like that message. It didn't matter how he said it. They just didn't like what he said. And that whole, well, how you say it thing is an excuse.
Don't
Period.
say it that way. You're gonna hurt the kittens over there. They're gonna feel like scratching over here. Get over it. Suck it up, cupcake. Life does not care if you like how it sounds. I used to tell my sons like that all the time. You may not like what I'm saying, but guess what? It is the truth, and it's going to help you when you go down the road. You may not like it, but guess what? You appreciate it later. And I think what happens is a lot of you guys are bringing some good points. I think a lot of you guys who didn't like the way he said it, because he said it a certain way. I think some of y'all balls didn't drop, and you ain't never said nothing from your chest in the first place.
I liked how you checked your watch right there. That was a very bossy way you did that. I like that.
I think I had some of the biggest impacts in my life from people who didn't say something to me the way I wanted to have it said. Think about it. Sometimes even your parents, they know how to spoon feed something to you, and even they know to give you something with the hard pill, so the tough pill. You know what I'm saying?
Some of the best moments in my life came from that. When I look, maybe I didn't like it at the moment as a child or at a certain point, but when I look back, I go, that moment really saved me in that situation.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. I think we have a generation of people, men and women, who, like, I think who was it? Jermaine said, we got a lot of people who don't have tough skin. If you, Jono, I'm tooting my head.
You don't know what I've been through.
It's because
was it 10-10 call? Baby, if you couldn't handle the 10-10 call, go sit down. Your name, you were put out there to hang and dry.
Yeah, from both sides.
Both sides.
We got into this participation award society. You know what I mean? I saw my nephew get a participation award in sports, and I was like, why is he getting that?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't earn that. Guess what though? Now my nephew is a 3-sport athlete with straight A's. He was taught to earn. That's what it's about. Now it's sweeter when you have to earn it instead of when you use cheat codes and just get it easy. That's the secret of the sauce. That makes you appreciate things.
Wait a minute.
I appreciate my kitchen because I used to be in the kitchen with roaches. I had to work to get out of that.
Wait a minute, Trav. You hit something. Could it be the reason why some women are hollow inside because they never, ever, ever, ever put in the work to get the man that they deserve?
Never. And again, it's our fault, but too, because we don't hold ourselves with standards.
Some people think
we won't walk away. We won't walk away from a potential fun night with a woman. And that's a big part of the problem. We have to put blame on us.
Responsibility. The gospel's wrong. That's what it is. A woman, and every woman is watching. You may not like it or not, what we're about to say. And I said it again. You appreciate something that you put in work and put in work for. When it's an easy lay, it doesn't sit the same way. But when you have to put some sweat equity to get this man, baby, when it happens, it's going to hit different. And what happens is, like you said, Trav, we have not put women to task to say, hey, baby, you just can't come around just to be coming around because you look cute and got curves and fingertips. And it's because you got a kitty cat. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. When she realized that she has to put in work, and when it really does happen, everything changes.
And that's the real backlash that's coming from that. It's not because of what he said. It's not because of how he said it. It's because the truth does not feel good. Women have to learn. Even men have to learn a lot of this too. People have to learn the things you need to do in life don't always feel good, but the results that you get from it will feel great. So do you want to feel good all the time temporarily? Or are you willing to put in the work, be accountable, and do what it takes? Get through the grit and grind to not just feel good, but to feel great.
And
who has ever made had a big successful life, and the whole time everything was just hunky-dory? If you look at any stock, look at Amazon. Did the stock just go up like this, or did it go up like this?
Very true.
That's life. Period. I'll be quiet.
That is the reason why they didn't like Kevin Samuels. It was the message, but it was also the way he said it. And we have a lot of people who are stuck in their feelings. Shout out to him, Kappa Alpha Psi Incorporated, to the brothers. He's gone into the next chapter. I'm glad we had this conversation. I hope everyone really think about what took place and look at this man's life. I'll be honest, I was in shock. The first person I contact was Jono. Yo, what's up? Then I started looking at him. I could say a bunch of good things and bad things about Kevin. I'm not. I don't know the man. I know people who are connected to him. I'm not riding his jock, and I don't think anyone that came on this panel ever did. But we do appreciate his ability to move forward and to push the message in front of the people who need to hear it. I cannot emphasize how he has changed the narrative for a lot of men to step up their game. But he also,
myself.
Yeah, including me too. Because we talked about, me and Jono just talked about this behind the scenes yesterday. How he like, dude, you see what he did? You see how he did that? See how he did that? Okay, the content, okay, great. But look what he did with his camera shot. Look what he did with his production. Yeah. We were looking at that.
We went down to knowing the camera models and the stuff he used, and we could tell he bought some of the stuff we have.
Right. The man put in 7 years of work, adjusted his content, and guess what blew him up? He was doing other things about fashion, keeping it a very softer approach and all that. But the moment a woman got disrespectful on his show and he checked her the right way as a man, that's what made him go viral. And it wasn't because that he was being a bully. He stood up for himself, and women didn't like that. So if women, you don't like Kevin Samuels, you blew him up, because 7 years prior to that, he wasn't doing that and he wasn't as big as he was. But once he checked the woman and you guys had hive mentality and didn't like that, he put a woman in her place, which he should have did. That's what made him blow up. So if you didn't like Kevin Samuels, a lot of you women are at fault for that. Period. Take accountability for that.
Because they were over there. The whole goal, like I said earlier, was to topple Kevin Samuels. That was the goal. That was the goal. Let me come up on there. I'm gonna adjust my hair. One girl came out. She had her how you gonna have on a whole nightgown with your stuff almost coming out? I want to talk about, baby. Come on. Come on. You wanted the attention from a man who was going to check you. Let's be honest with you. John on Trav. That's what they really wanted. They wanted attention from a man that was going to check because they ain't never got that, because the man they with, they can bully around. They can tell what to do. Go over there, Johnny. I'm talking to Kevin. That's the real deal. So with that being said, man, this has been the longest show. We didn't woo-wee. I think Lead Attorney is about to come out. Shout out to Lead Attorney. He was actually connected to him. Shout out to O'Shea Du Jackson. Shout out to David Sperling. Shout out to Mediocre Tutorial and Review. Shout out to him. Who else is Obsidian? Shout out to anyone who was directly connected with him, to Kevin Samuels. We want to make sure, because it hits different when you talk to the person on a regular. I never talked to him.
Yeah.
It hits different. And what we have to realize, men do need to grieve. This is a loss. This is a loss. Good. Thank you, Malik. This is a loss. Even though I didn't know him personally, men do need to grieve. And so I want to make sure we emphasize that. You may not like how certain men grieve. It is what it is. I think what's the other Anton? What's Anton's name?
Anton Daniels.
Anton Daniels. I seen him grieve yesterday. So I want to make sure that we understand that it's okay for men to grieve, and that we can move forward past this. This is not the end. I don't know
who was
who
a leader in the black male community. He was a leader in the black community, period. Like straight up, he was.
Yeah. And two, I'm gonna say this, and shout out to we don't talk about this. His daughter. He lost a daughter. His daughter has lost a father.
Right.
Nobody's talking about that. A mother just lost her son. His mother is still alive.
They like the death. A lot of these toxic women like his death because his death represents the death of their accountability.
Yes.
That's why that is.
You said it correct right there.
Yeah.
And watch, you think this is over?
No.
It's gonna spawn many people after this. Y'all just seeing the beginning.
Dude, it's like this is about to be a sequel to the sequel.
Right.
But I want to make sure I shout out his daughter. I don't know her name, and shout out to his mother in Oklahoma, and her husband, because you don't know what they went through, and to his ex-wives, you don't know what they went through also. You know what I mean? Even though they're not together, they still were a part of each other. People don't think about that.
This man wasn't trying to down anybody, and he wasn't speaking out to cause problems. He was trying to make people accountable on both sides so that we could unify black families and black marriage. But you got these fake rappers out here that push this fake violence or push bad messages. You got Tekashi 6ix9ine out here still living. But guys like Kevin Samuels get celebrated when they die. Nipsey Hussle gets killed by our own people when he's trying to uphold standards. But the people that are causing the toxic, real toxic poison out here, we let them just walk free and just celebrate that. That's how backwards this society is. And it's just damn sickening.
I'm just trying to.
He was a responsible man trying to push a responsible message. And they took him out. Or not took him out, but when he went out, people are taking him out with comments.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find out how George Zimmerman is still around. Anyway, but
right, exactly.
All that heat.
But guess what? None of us are perfect. Like if you believe in Jesus, but look what happened to Jesus. He was a perfect man, and look what they did when he pushed an accountable, responsible message.
Yeah. Any final words, my good brothers? Any final words? Any final words on Kevin?
I'll just say I'm about to go, but I appreciate you. I wanted to hop on because I was passionate about this, and I made sure I dropped something before I did that. I know you got a lot of numbers on this, but for you to allow me to come on and speak my passion about this, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you too, Trav.
Appreciate you too,
Trav. Peace.
Appreciate you, bro.
Man, this was one of the hardest shows it did, man.
Yeah. But it definitely brought out the truth. I feel like that was exemplified here.
Yeah. This is one of the hardest shows I did. Whether people like it and don't agree with it or not, this is one of the hardest shows. Because of the connection that we did have with Kevin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, this is the thinking class when spirituality and the game combines. And if you don't get it, it is your own ass fault. And we are okay, guys. So we're gonna play some. We're gonna get our music together today. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. See you on the other side. Peace and beer grease. Get gas on from this, Johnny. I hate this happening. I don't like a brother, man. Say that again.
You rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Shout out Newt, AXI. Thank you so much. KXI Incorporated. I'll put some jerk chicken. Peace, Kevin Samuels.